All right, greetings, Panthers. Let's finish this lesson. Counting positives, negatives, integers, adding them together. The most important thing to realize here is that when you have a positive integer represented by the yellow tile, and you combine it with a negative integer represented by the red tile, they kind of cancel each other out. It's like you owe somebody $1, somebody gives you $1. Somebody gives you $1, you owe somebody $1. Either way, you end up with 0. So bye-bye. So this will equal 0. We call this a 0 pair. They pair up. When they pair up together, they cancel each other out and become 0. So let's look at this example. And they don't write it down here, but in this 2 here, what kind of 2 is that? A positive or a negative? It's a positive 2, but they don't write it down. How silly. And then this is a negative 5 integer. So we have the 2 integers we're working with are plus a positive 2 and a negative 5. What operation are we using? We're adding them together. So when you take this positive 2 right here, and we'll make this a little bit thicker. These 2 are here. That's a plus and a plus. And you combine them. You add it to negative 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have some pairs. Where do they pair up? This positive pairs with this negative, gone. Cancel. This positive pairs with this negative, gone. Cancel. What do we have left? Dun, 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 dun. 3 negatives. And thus, if my calculations are correct, the answer is -3. And that is exactly what we see. 3 negatives, -3. You can say 3 negatives, -3. It's the same thing with different names of order. Yeah, voila. See, there we go. So let's try this one. I can draw since I don't have, so I can say, -2. That's an integer. What's the other integer we're working with? This 3, but what kind of 3 is it? They don't write it in there, so I'm gonna write it in there. It's a positive 3. And what operation are we using? Oh, orange operation is a positive, is plus. We're adding these 2 integers together. So I'm gonna represent a -1, -2. You can just draw it. And then I'm gonna represent how many positives? 1, 2, 3. How many pairs do we have that cancel out? 1, 2. Bye-bye. What are we left with? A positive 1. So the answer is positive 1. Although you might not see this if you had a multiple choice question and the answers were as follows: 0, 1, -1. Ooh, I don't see positive 1 in there. Yes, you do. You guessed it. There it is. They don't put the positive there, do they? Ha ha ha! Got you. Bye, you. We got you right where we want you, kid. Okay, whoops, too far. This is getting kind of easy now, right? I think, no? So, let's see. Ooh, we have -2. There they are, 1, 2. Wow. We have what kind of, what is this? That's a positive 3. What operation are we using? Why does this sound familiar? There we go. This looks like we're doing the same thing here. So, here's a pair, by pair. Here's a pair, by pair. We're left with a positive 1. I feel like this is exactly what we did. It is. Oh, how silly. Okay, what do you notice? What do you wonder here? Think about that. Pause the video and take a look. Because I'm only going to wait for 3 seconds, but you can make that last forever if you pause the video, right? I think so. Did you notice a pair? If you have $1 in your bank account, right? And you use your debit card or your parents' debit card, don't use their card. But some kids actually have their own cards these days, And so you spend $1 using the card. What's your balance? Well, if you add these 2 together, this positive 1 and this negative 1, we said that's a pair. Okay? Positive and negative cancels out. Now you have 0. Now this is going to carry over to the next day. See this 0? It's going to carry over. It's going to go, let's see if I can do this without making too much of a mess. Right here, this 0 is going to carry over my wayward son. This is what you have in your bank account the next day or the next moment, right? Is 0. All right, let's see what happens now. If you have 0 in your account, here, and then you spend $2 more with your card. Yeah, see, that's what this negative here means. You're spending money. See, down here, you're going to add money to your account, $7. But right now, you're spending money with your card. So, let's combine this 0, see the pair, the 0 pair that we already have, with this -2, -2. And what do we end up with? Cancel out. We have a -2. Let's carry over to the next day. That means you owe the bank $2. Now you owe the bank $2. Now you buy something else. Uh-oh. So now we have a negative plus a negative. You can just see a 2 and a 3 is 5, right? But here's the model. Here's our 0. Our 0 is here. And we're going to put 3 more negatives on there. Oh, and here's the 2, -2. Add 3 more negatives. See, these cancel out. That's a total of 5 negatives. You owe the bank 5 big ones, buddy. Okay. Now you owe the bank $5. Now we're going to add $7 to your account. You say, Mom, Dad, I owe the bank money. And usually when I do that, they charge me an extra $35 every time I overdraft. That's called overdrafting right here. This is the first time you overdrafted right here. See this -2? Yeah, imagine having to pay $35 every time that happens. They put another -35 on there. Ugh, evil bank people. Tell you, watch out. They'll get you if you don't. Watch out. All right. Let's not be too scared here. It's just math. You don't have to be scared of math. Yeah, you do. No, you don't. Well, not if you keep working at it. You won't be. Okay. All right. So, So now we take this much, all this stuff here. I just put it right here. I just rewrote it down here. And now we take these positive 7. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many pairs do we have? Can we cancel out some 0 pairs? Heck yeah, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What are we left with? 2 positives right here. We're left with these 2 positives. Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that special? These 2 positives. That's why you have a positive 2 now. Let's go. Dr. Hoff stayed too long in the penguin encounter SeaWorld. He got to a -3 degrees. You remember this question? We already did it, but let's try it with, see, -3. Right away, I can say, oh, a -3. We're going to put in 3 negatives. 1, 2, 3. And let's see, he brought him up by 6 degrees. What kind of 6 would that be if you're going up? If you're going up is positive. So now we're going to draw 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead, cancel out our negative pairs. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. What are we left with? 3 positive. The answer is a positive 3. Dun, dun, dun. But I'm still freezing, and Mr. Boone is still looking kind of like he's having a good time watching that happen. Okay, adding and subtracting integers rules. Now we can use some rules. Now that we kind of hopefully understand exactly why these rules work, but now we can use rules. Maybe you just like rules. Maybe you don't want to use any pictures. And, well, even our rules have pictures here. But anyhow, if the signs are the same, you know that. If you have a +3 and you're adding a +3, 3 plus 3 is 6. A +2, adding a +2, that's going to be 4. We kind of already know that, but we don't always write these pluses. You're just so used to seeing it like this. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6, which we're really adding integers together. Now, what about the negatives? Oh, yeah, same thing. A -3 plus a -3 is, how many negatives is that? 3 negatives plus 3 negatives is a total of how many negatives? 6 negatives. Just put that negative right there in the front, right? So if you do a -4 plus a -2, same thing. We're just taking a -4, a -2. Well, how many total negatives is that? 4 negatives plus 2 negatives is, dun, dun, dun. That's still 6 negatives, isn't it? Now, what happens when we do this example right here that they gave us? Mr. Boone made this. He's such a good teacher. He's so cool. I'm so happy to have him as a friend. Okay, 4 negatives, 3 negatives. What's the operation? We're adding them together is a total of, if you wanted to draw it, you could, but we're not drawing right now. We're just doing rules. So basically, you just add these 2 things together. 4 plus 3 is 7, and you keep the sign the same, which is a negative. Add them together, keep the sign the same. All right, what if you get different things? What if you have a positive and a negative, right? It all depends on which value is greater. For this example, let's say we take, A positive 4, add a negative 3. In this case, positive 4, and you're adding a negative 3. This case, see how this 4 is the bigger, I say bigger number. It's the 4 is a greater absolute value than negative 3, positive 4. So in other words, 4 is bigger than 3. If you don't look at the signs, if you just pretend like the signs aren't there for a second, the 4 is the big one. So this is what we'll use. We use this one right here. Our answer is going to be positive. But what do? You do the operation subtract. But it says add, Mr. Hoffman. I know, I'm sorry. You just, that's what you do. 4 minus 3. This is the rules. You don't have to understand it. Just do it. 4 minus 3 is 1, but since the 4 is bigger, it's going to be a positive 1. What if you make it the other way around? What if you make it, the positives smaller? So let's make this a 3 plus, so a positive 3 plus a negative 4. See what I'm saying? You see how this, you see where I'm going with this? They're using blue here, so I guess I use yellow. I guess I better use blue. Aye, guys, people, blue. So I guess I better change this one up here too to be consistent. Blue. All right. So now we're saying the 3 is the smaller number without the signs, right? So the absolute value of 3 is 3. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4. But anyway, what do? It says now you just subtract. I know it says add. I know it says add. But anyway, just subtract 4 minus 3 is 1. See, you don't have to subtract 3 minus 4. You just do it whatever number is bigger first. 4 minus 3 is 1. Now, what sign do you use? It says keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. This time, this one has the greater absolute value, so it's a negative 1. Those are the rules. All right, let's try it. Let's see what else we got here. If the signs are the same, like here and here, add the numbers and keep the same sign. If the signs are different, like here and here, subtract the numbers, but keep the sign of the value that is absolute value that is larger, like the number without the sign. That's the one you keep. Okay, those are rules. Let's see how the rules work here. Try doing this one. I guess I'll switch to blue for positive. What operation? These are all adding, by the way. We're adding. This lesson's all about adding. And what kind of integers have we got here? Well, this is positive and this is positive. So which rule do we use? Two positives? Two positives, what's the outcome? Stays the same. So we know the answer is going to be positive. And when they're the same, what do we do? Even though it says add, well, in this case, we actually add. 10 plus 7, 17. There's the answer, positive 17. Two negatives, well, when they're the same, then what we do is keep the same sign and add them together. 3 plus 2 is 5. What about this one? This one, the 1. See this here? That 1 is less than this 15. Even though negative 1 is, well, it actually is less than positive 15, but not always the case. Maybe this isn't the best example, but at any rate, what we'll do then is take the sign of the number that has the greatest absolute value, which is the 15. What sign is here? They don't write it, but it's a positive. So we're going to take that, then we're going to subtract. 15 minus 1 is 14. Okay, negative 14 now is the greatest one, even though negative 14 is less than a positive 9. Pretend like the signs aren't there for a second. Pretend like these integers are all absolute values. Because if you take the absolute value of 14, and the absolute value of 9, which one's greater? Remember, absolute value, everything's positive. So in that case, the 14 is greater. But that's not what its symbol is. Its symbol is a negative. It seems so confusing now, but it's really not if you kind of do it a few more times. So the answer is going to be a negative because this 14 is greater than this 9, right? Okay, so that's why it's negative. Then what do? I know it says add, but now you subtract. 14 minus 9 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 5. The answer is negative 5. All right, use the polling tool. You don't have a polling tool. Use your brain. What's negative 12 plus 14? Is the answer positive or negative? Well, remember, we're adding. What kind of 14 is this? That's a positive 14. Since 14 is greater than 12, so first of all, the signs are different, so we're going to subtract. And since 14 is greater than 12, we're going to leave this as a positive. And what's 14 minus 12? 2. The answer should be positive 2. Oh, what is the solution to the problem? Uh-oh, I don't see a positive 2 in here. We're in trouble. Oh, you know I'm trying to mess with you. Of course, there it is. They don't write it there. It's C. And for that, I'll see you later, alligator, Vader haters, when your teeth are straighters.